So if you're like me and you feel like the MCU has been kind of losing its way, especially with Thor: Love and Thunder and She-Hulk, well, thanks to Ryan Coogler, we've actually got a movie here. A great movie. Let's talk about Wakanda Forever. Thank the gods that the MCU actually came back to what started them in the first place, making quality films. Wakanda Forever was excellent. Kudos, Ryan Coogler. I was so satisfied with this movie, mainly because it was a good movie. It didn't have the mentality of, hey, let's put them in some costumes, put some CGI on there, throw some superpowers in it, and put it on screen. Nah, this movie was thought out. It was deep. It had so much going for it before there's even superhero stuff going on. In fact, a lot of the movie, there's not superhero costumes, there's not a lot of suits or anything like that. It's intermittent throughout. I mean, it's not like you're just missing it, but a lot of the movie is much more about what's going on. And let's face it, I'm not spoiling anything in here. A lot of the movie is about Chadwick Boseman's death, or T'Challa's death. And so because of that, there's a lot of heart and a lot of character development in this movie that I think is excellent. Now, right off, this is a spoiler-free review. I'm not spoiling anything here. I'm just telling you what I thought about the film and if you should go see it or not. I've already got a spoiler review on the channel, so check that out. I can tell you before I get into it, go see this. It's great. It's full of heart. It's emotional as hell. The acting is top-notch. The story is solid. And we get an introduction to one of the most legendary comic book characters in the Marvel Universe, Namor. Man, and he was badass. It's everything I wanted to see Namor on screen. Everybody's always worried, how are you gonna bring this wing-footed elf to the screen? Well, they did it. And he's a badass. Badass. But first off, one of the things about this movie I think that makes it great is it was dealing with real life and things that really happened and addressing that on screen, but weaving it into a story. So many movies, when they lose a cast member or something like that, they just keep moving forward and they keep the production they had lined up just moving forward. I thought it was really awesome that they took the time to change this and base it around the true loss that happened with Chadwick Boseman. But I remember Ryan Coogler saying, you will feel the presence of Chadwick Boseman throughout this entire film. You will feel T'Challa throughout this entire film, and you do. It's like he's there with you. It's hard to explain, but you just have to see the movie to feel what I'm talking about. There's a lot of beautiful silent moments to where it feels like you as an audience member are taking a moment of silence, but you're doing it collectively with all these people that not only care about the franchise, but were affected when Chadwick Boseman died. And you know how they have the red Marvel intro that comes in before every Marvel project, and it's got all that awesome music and everything, the classic Marvel theme. This one they did it, it was all purple, no music, and all the visuals you see all in between the letters, it was all Chadwick Boseman stuff. And I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. That's how moving it was. One of the first things you'll notice about this movie, though, that's really powerful, and I'm a big believer that this matters in movies, is the score. The score hits. Not only do you have all that awesome Wakanda music that you love from the original movie, but there's all this other layered in stuff because remember, this takes place a lot in the ocean because it's about the introduction of Namor as well. And while I'm on that, this is equally a Namor movie as it is a Black Panther or a Wakanda movie. And they did a great job creating a story that actually puts Namor into this situation and makes him necessary. It doesn't feel like he's just being shoved into it. And if any of you guys don't know Namor in the comics, he's an anti-hero in the sense that he's not someone that's just, you know what, I'm just going to go save innocent people. He feels that way about his people, but he's not necessarily on that side with the surface world. In fact, he kind of despises the surface world. And they did a good job at portraying both sides of that in this movie. I can't wait for a Namor solo film. That's all I'm saying. Everything that you loved from the first movie is in this movie as far as the tone, the feeling, it's got Ryan Coogler all over it. It feels like it added to the lore of Wakanda, the lore of this specific franchise within the MCU. And don't take this the wrong way, please, because obviously I would much rather have Chadwick here. But in this weird way that sometimes the universe will work itself and the way life has its way, because of what happened to Chadwick, this movie has a really, really compelling point to make. And in a weird way, it's almost like Chadwick sacrificed himself for the greater good because this movie makes a point and it has a lot to say. That's another thing. This is one of the first MCU movies I feel like that actually has something to say behind it being a comic book film. Yeah, the other ones have a lot of cool moments to where it gets you a lot of cool quotes and things like that. But this movie actually is relevant to our time. It's relevant to where we are as a society, as humanity, and it really moved me. It really touched me a lot, and I think the entire audience was with me. There was a lot of moments where you're supposed to be quiet in this movie, and the audience was being quiet. And it was a full theater. That says something about a movie. But all the battles were still badass. All the tech was still all badass. The cast was amazing. They all truly were fantastic. And everybody that was in the first one is in this one, except for Daniel Kaluuya. But if you remember what happened to him in the first one, he sort of took Killmonger's side. So I read up some stuff with Ryan Coogler, and he's talking about, yes, look, Daniel Kaluuya is not in this. The main reason is because he was filming Nope and some other things, but they also used the fact that he sort of betrayed Wakanda, took Killmonger's side. Basically, Ryan Coogler said that Wakabi, Daniel Kaluuya's character, is still alive, but he's banished from Wakanda. He's sort of on the borders. So there could be a story there for us to revisit in Black Panther 3. But Letitia Wright's awesome in it. And Dana Gurira, I think that's how you say her name. She's badass, as she was in the first one. The beautiful Lupita Nyong'o, she's awesome in this. And dude, Angela Bassett, let's just talk about that she's in her 60s and she's smoking hot. She looks like a teenager. I'm not even kidding. They try to put gray hair on her and everything to make her look like she's older, but look, you just don't. You're aging awesome, Angela. Just got to throw that out there. The Winston Duke's badass in it. Like I said, all the cast is great in it. I've got a couple little minor nitpicks. These aren't anything that ruin the movie because the movie's solid, the movie's awesome, because it's a great film first and a comic book movie second. But my main nitpicks is the way they kind of shoehorned in Riri Williams' character. It's not that I didn't like Riri Williams. I liked her as an actor. I just felt that they advanced her character a little too fast as far as getting her in the suit and the Ironheart thing. And don't get me wrong, Ironheart was a little past my time in comics, so I can't sit here and tell you I know everything about the character. But I just feel like movie making and storytelling 101, they advanced her character a little too fast for me. And the other thing that just kind of bugged me a little bit, and let me just say, this is not me like pointing fingers and saying they did a bad job. This is dealing with a movie where we tragically lost the lead character. So there's no wrong decisions here, and it's clear that they were very much trying to be respectful towards Chadwick Boseman in this movie. But in the beginning of the movie, it just starts off with him gone. And the way that they handled that a little bit, I would have preferred to have some sort of visual connection to T'Challa on the screen and feel like that I'm losing him in this movie. But they kind of just talk about it. And that's just my one little thing that I would have changed. That and the advancement of Riri Williams and her character just being developed way too quickly. Other than that though, and again, those are super minor nitpicks, the movie was excellent. It was fantastic. I was very, very pleased with it. I honestly don't think that anybody but Ryan Coogler and this whole team could have done a better job with the circumstances they had. And in a weird way, this movie is much more powerful because of Chadwick's passing. So Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I give an A. The only reason it's not any further than that is because a couple of little of those character development problems I had, but again, that's not enough to make it a bad movie and take away the A rating. Well, that'll do it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you can help us make it to the top. And as always, if life gives you lemons, make some hot, fresh popcorns.